Welcome to the GTN show.
Yes, welcome. This week we've got a variety of news and topics to discuss, including Parkrun getting rid of their records, plus an athlete attempting to use a doppelganger to get out of a drugs test.
Absolutely wild. Anyway, we've also got lots of fun tech, including some gold leaf wheels, solar charging via your bottle cages, and we celebrate the love of triathlon.
Well, we're going to kick things off, as we usually do, with posts that we have spotted online, in particular from Instagram and the Black Canyons Ultra 100K happened over the weekend, and we saw a few interesting posts. Most notably, Heather Jackson, who was in the lead, looking like she had a great battle on her hands until it all went a little bit south. And her post here says, turns out that we were racing 100K yesterday and the 60K was today. It sounds like she got her nutrition entirely wrong and started to suffer in a less pleasant way. From the things she says here, other runners offering fuel and hydration and anti-diarrhea and the aid station. She's thanking the aid station volunteers for getting her through. So yes, it sounds like it just went a little wrong. I think it was to do with the race being postponed at the start because she wasn't the only one to have problems.
Yeah, that's really sad. I mean, obviously to go from first place to 13th in the kind of I say the final stage is obviously 40K, still a long old way to go, but yeah, gutting, because she clearly was going really well. And yeah, she's done really well at a transition from triathlon to all these ultra races. So good on you, stick with it. But another one that suffered was Lucy Bartholomew, also was in the mix in there, also struggled and I believe had nutrition issues as well.
It does sound like that, yes. Just saying the delayed start, the hectic mud and fast pace seemed really hard, really early, eased off, but wasn't able to hold down any food and find a rhythm. And she just says here, today I was the smeared bug that felt upset, demoralised, grateful, loved, inspired by the ones that had the windshield day. And she had a quote saying, sometimes you're the windscreen, sometimes you're the bug.
Never heard that. That's quite a good analogy.
Yeah,
nice one. Moving on, Johnny Brownlee getting stuck into some bike racing. I haven't actually looked into this enough, but I assume he's down in Calpe, south of Spain, where they often go for trading. Alistair, I think, got stuck into the same race or a similar race last year. Well, Johnny actually went for a solo breakaway, and this is these are high level races, so you've got a lot of Conti pro races and stuff down there. So he went solo and got caught just before the end, but he does make a joke. He said, probably best because I've never done no hands finish before. So
yeah, that could be a bit awkward, couldn't it? It's not just the Brownies that are racing bikes. Gwen Jorgensen has been out on the gravel bike again, and what looks like a full-on hardcore race, and she finished absolutely covered in mud, but said, yeah, it was a great experience, and she's just enjoying racing, I think, and trying to sort of get those bike handling experiences as much as she can in the final build-up to the Olympics.
Nice. So talking about bike handling, a name that many of you may not have heard, Sandra Mehrhofer. She's an ex-Terra athlete. In fact, she's dominated some of the racing because she is a phenomenal biker, or in fact, she's a phenomenal all-round triathlete, really. She has got a contract with the Soudal Lee Coogan Pro International Mountain Bike team now. I don't know if this means she's stepping away from triathlon and purely focusing on mountain biking, but I think that's pretty cool and very, very impressive to see a multi-sport athlete going over into a single sport athlete like that. So yeah, wishing her all the best, and yeah, seriously cool.
On to Tri News now, and sadly we are starting with some rather tragic news from the world of athletics, as the men's marathon world record holder Calvin Kipton from Kenya has sadly lost his life on Sunday in a car accident. He was apparently driving and was not the only casualty. His coach from Rwanda, Gervais Hakizimana, also lost his life in the tragic accident.
Yeah, now Kiptum actually made his breakthrough in running in 2023 as rival and compatriot to Eliud Kipchoge, and actually went on to better Kipchoge's marathon world record, clocking an impressive time of 2 hours and 35 seconds in October of last year. The two athletes have actually been named provisionally for the Olympics for Team Kenya for the marathon. And in fact, actually last week, Kiptum's team announced that he was going to attempt to break that 2-hour barrier in Rotterdam in April of this year, which obviously has never been achieved in an official competition. Of course, it's really sad news. So our thoughts do go out to Kiptum's family, friends, and teammates.
Yeah, really tragic news in the world of athletics. But moving on now, sticking with athletics, there has been a new doping violation in the world of athletics for the former 600-metre world record holder. Now, this is Michael Saruni of Kenya, has actually received a 4-year ban, which started at the beginning of this month. Now, this is from a violation back in the summer of 2022 at the 800-metre, well, after the 800-metre final at the national championships. And he was required to do a blood and a urine sample, and apparently was in the toilet stall and had someone arranged to come to swap with him. Now, this is all according to the Anti-Doping Association in Kenya, and they said that once approached, this doppelganger, so to speak, made a run for it and jumped over the hedge and disappeared. And now it's Michael Saruni, in his defence, said that this was not anything, that he was not trying to evade the doping test, but yes, has been done on actually not turning up to the test. So he's got a 4-year ban, and it sounds all a little bit, dirty there, doesn't it, to be honest, from what we can. But yeah, some lengths to go to, and you would imagine that at your national championships, most people would recognise you, including the anti-doping officers.
Yeah, anyway, moving on. Let's talk parkrun records. I think it's going to be exciting because we've got slightly differing opinions on this topic.
We have, yes.
Yeah, let's get stuck in.
Well, for those of you who aren't familiar with Parkrun, it is a free-to-enter global running event. And it all began back in 2004 in Bushy Park in London with just 13 runners. And it's now grown to be held in 23 different countries. They've got over 2,200 parkruns happening every Saturday. And the idea is it's a community-led project where you have volunteers who basically put the event on every Saturday. And they've been just getting more and more runners coming through the doors. And last year actually had a total of 90,000 new runners in 2023, which is awesome.
It's absolutely incredible. I know, I mean, Heather, you do a lot of them. We've both got stuck into, but you do tend to go most weekends.
Yeah, well, I've kind of gone more to the volunteering recently, but
well, yeah. Fair enough. Anyway, what has kind of grabbed the headlines this past week is the news that Parkrun are removing records. Okay, so in their statement they say, we will no longer publish data such as most first finishes, sub-17 men, sub-20 women, and age, grade or category speed records. Alongside these, as part of our ongoing data protection improvements, the search function has been removed. Your personalised results, email, and your individual profile pages will remain the same, as will the results page for every event. Goes on, they continue to say, we'll continue to take steps to ensure that everyone is able to enjoy Parkrun for what it is, a free community event and an opportunity to be active, social and outside in a non-competitive, inclusive and welcoming environment. So let's discuss, Heather.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the heart of Parkrun, and I feel that everybody already knew that. And I personally was just really shocked to see their reasoning behind this. And I know they've said that they want to remove all barriers. And I have lots of friends who run at all different speeds. And, you know, and I do stand there volunteering when you've got people who are taking close to an hour. And I celebrate them all. But I don't see the reason of taking away records, which you have to sort of look on the website to find, is going to actually encourage any more people to come running. I can't see how that is a positive action to help more people come to Parkrun.
And I totally see that. I guess my initial reaction when I saw this pop up, I thought, well, good, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Because when I first got into Parkrun or was aware of it, I thought, fantastic, this is all about getting newcomers, new people into the sport. And then when I started seeing that there were records and all these top-level club runners were heading on, I was like, hang on, that's not what I expected Parkrun to be about. Why are there records for an event that's all about just getting people active and getting them involved in running for free? I mean, I can go and do a 10K or a 5K at the weekend. So that was my immediate reaction. And then it was interesting, I jumped onto social media and obviously my echo chamber, my friends all being sort of top level runners, there was uproar about it. And it was like, oh, wow, this is interesting. And I've discussed this with my partner who, she's active, she's not an avid runner by any means. She also was like, that's kind of nice to hear because I find Parkrun quite intimidating. And it's interesting talking to people in our office that are getting into running. They also haven't gone to Parkrun because they're intimidated by it. And I'm like, well, that's interesting because it really isn't that intimidating, but maybe it is with all these records and people turning up trying to race it and be at the front and clocking these incredible times. But sorry, I'm going on here, but I agree with you that like it shouldn't matter? Why can't we just leave the records there?
I just feel it's really sad that they're having to kind of almost do a negative thing to affect some of the runners at the pointy end. And these records we talk about, that you're not obviously going to go to a park run to try and break the, your county 5K record or something, because they're muddy, they're on trails, they're up steps. I mean, our local one is not a fast course.
Yeah.
So I just personally see the record as something that's just of interest of that. It sits at the bottom of the page, or it used to. And, I only ever looked at it early on when park runs were cropping up to actually see, is that a fast course or not? That was the only reason. Or has one of my friends, I'm like, a colleague of mine has got the record. Wow, good for them. And I know I'm not intimidated by running, and I feel very saddened to hear that people are. But I don't feel like us removing that record from there is giving anything back to those people that maybe would be intimidated. And I also feel like, after the Olympics in 2012, we saw so much uptake of running because people were inspired watching people on television break records who are incredible runners. So can we not have some inspiration of everyone running together? And that's what I love about parkrun. You turn up some weeks and the winning time might be quite slow, and other weeks it might be incredibly fast, and you've got some athletes who are training maybe for the Olympics, are doing their winter training. And that I don't feel should make any difference, because, if I go and run parkrun sometimes with my friends and we're running around 30 minutes, and other times I might be, close to that 20-minute barrier, but it makes no difference because you don't see the faster ones because they're ahead of you. They've gone, and they've probably finished and gone home or carrying on with their long run by the time these slower people are crossing the line.
I think this is the bit that kind of bamboozled me at the start, is that why are they making a thing of these records? Because I did see it every week. They would pop up, the fastest parkrun runners in the country this weekend. And why do they need to do that? And actually, they could exist, but just quietly. Sorry, just to you say a lot of the parkruns aren't fast, but there are some incredibly fast ones, like Bushy Parkrun. Do you know what the record is?
Well, you did tell me earlier, but otherwise I wouldn't have done.
Andy Badley, and it's very impressive, who from the running channel, 13:48 holds that record. It's nuts. Yeah. And I guess as parkruns are becoming more popular, running is becoming more popular, there are more club runners turning up. And the Bushy Park Run, I've seen photos where the front right, it's 4 or 5 deep of top level elite club runners. That is flipping intimidating. If you're a newcomer to the sport, you probably wouldn't be just rock up to Bushy Park Run if you're, I don't know, maybe, but...
I don't know, but then, if you're going into your first half marathon, you've got people running 1 hour, you've got people running 3 hours. So I feel like as a running community, we should just absolutely embrace everybody who gets joy of running. And, even if, I'm not at the high end, but if I'm using parkrun to do it as a test run and want to run it really hard, I am not going boasting about my time. I'm not getting in the way of anybody else. But I also enjoy that having a set time or something on a Saturday morning to get up to go and do, and it motivates me as a runner, I guess you would label me, compared to but it would also motivate me if I just want to go and have a jog and have a cup of coffee afterwards, then I'll also go to parkrun. And I feel like we should just be welcoming everyone as much as possible, like they're saying, and they could have maybe just quietly stopped doing these press releases or put the records on a different page or something. But I personally just feel like they've made a big thing about this, and it's maybe backfired on them, because I just feel it's sad, that they've had to say this. And but at the end of the day, if they can prove that it's getting more runners out of the door and to parkrun, great. I just don't believe it will do.
Yeah, we probably should leave there, but I've got one more thing. I guess, as you say, we probably shouldn't care. And do we need to care that their records exist or don't exist? I mean, we've got 5Ks, 10Ks events that we can go off and do elsewhere around the world. So do we just... Everyone be happy and just go do parkrun at a weekend and have a coffee afterwards?
And if you've not done parkrun, it is a very welcoming event. And if you just want to get out and even come and volunteer, we're always after volunteers as well. So
I'll definitely still be heading along, and I think we will be together. All right. Okay, moving on to What the Tech. Hopefully we won't disagree on too much more in today's show. So
I'll leave you to it, Mark, on this section.
This first one is another fun patent that's been leaked, and this time coming from SRAM, and it's a new charging method for their Axis batteries via solar charging. So they're going to have integrated solar panels within their front and rear bike fenders, and even bottle cages, so that you can charge an Axis battery. Now, it currently displays it on this patent as a battery attached to the fenders or the cage. That would mean it would have to be a spare, so you can't actually just charge stuff as you're riding. Obviously, it's a patent. We don't know if this will actually come to life. I'm not sure how relevant this is to triathlon.
Or to anyone living in the UK.
True, that too. But bring on those epic multi-day adventure rides. So there we go.
I mean, you can still change gear at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Perfect. Another piece of tech news coming from New Balance. Now, they have jumped on the bandwagon of encouraging customers to recycle their shoes and to also buy shoes that maybe are less than perfect. So basically, on their e-commerce site, you can now go into a section where they have this area called Reconsidered. And basically, it's shoes that are maybe have been returned, maybe they've been worn a little bit, or what they call cosmetically imperfect footwear, which then they have obviously cleaned up and made presentable and are now putting back on the website. So there's the opportunity for buying those. But they've also got the other way around. So obviously they need to have the shoes coming in, and they will give customers, or reward them with vouchers depending on the quality of the shoe that they've sent in to New Balance. So it's just a nice kind of keeping a regeneration program going for shoes to hopefully be recycled, and hopefully not encouraging people to buy more shoes. But yeah, I'm sure there's some financial benefit for New Balance at the back of it as well.
I have heard that the second-hand market is booming, and they're expecting some projections in the next sort of 5 years to be quite significant. So
it's a weird one, isn't it? Because you kind of feel like if you've got a shoe that's wearing out, you should give it on before it's totally worn out. But then you also want to wear your shoes until they're dead so that you've got the full wear out of them. So I don't know. There must be a happy medium somewhere that's kind of good for the economy.
People also pay a lot of money for that distressed look as well.
Well, so, as we've covered on the show before. Yeah.
Anyway, final bit of tech comes from Lightweight Wheels, known for being their high-end lightweight wheels, and this is a limited edition wheel set. It's their Marlinstein Evo wheels. Now this is going to be a limited edition set, as I said, but only just 99 pairs available. This is actually a homage to the company's founder Heinz Obermeier. It's a signature gold edition, so it's going to have 23 carat pure gold leaf all over the wheels. And guess what the price tag is for this, Heather?
Oh my God.
£7,699 per wheel set.
I mean, you would
at least it's per
them...
wheel set, not per wheel.
Well, that's the thing. And I mean, are you going to ride them, or are you going to put them on your wall? You're not going to be... Yeah, a bit of mud on that.
I don't know if I'd have a wall left. I'd probably have to have sold my house, so I'd be popping up on a tree in a garden or something. Anyway. Cool.
Now time to take a look at your photos in our section that is the month of love for triathlon. Obviously it is February and I think Valentine's Day is today, but we are embracing it for the whole month, but nothing too soppy, just basically whatever it is you love about the sport of triathlon. And in some cases, as we'll see, it might be your partner, but it could just be the sport, or maybe your bike. Whatever it is, do send in your photos using the uploader, which is in the description beneath.
I'd like to think that everyone's watching GTN today on Valentines with their loved one.
Yeah.
GTN and chill.
Loving triathlon and loving GTN. We hope so, don't we?
So it's probably not a great thought, GTN and chill. Anyway, moving on. Heather, what's the first photo
we've got? Put you off your Valentine's evening. This first one comes from Nick. And this picture is at the swim start for the Ironman Copenhagen back in 2022. And he says, final moment with my lovely partner, now fiance, before the start. And then he's also got another picture in a moment. So that's literally, doesn't look like he's feeling too nervous, which is nice. She's obviously helping dampen those nerves. And then, yeah, actually after the swim, I think the grin might be even bigger by then. He's, looking very happy as he's finished his swim, but having time to smile for the camera before he heads out to transition on the bike.
You often see people come out of the swim and there's a big like,
the relief.
It's over! Get on to the fun bit now. Yeah, good stuff. Nice one. And next one from David from Torbay, the UK. This captures it perfectly. For 10 years, I've loved the sport, the training, the racing and the community. I love this picture collage taken from a last-minute decision to enter an end-of-season race in October whilst away visiting my daughter, who had just started university nearby in Exeter. I wasn't planning to do any more races this late in the season, but my wife wanted to try a try. Coming from a pure running background, a short sprint distance race with a pool swim and velo park bike course seemed the perfect introduction. That is a great introduction, really.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun event.
I walked away with the age group win and my wife got second in age group at first attempt. She's now been bitten by the bug. Love it. That's really cool. So yeah, thank you for sharing them, and please do keep them coming in. Use that photo uploader link on screen right now or in the description down below. Say what? All right, time to take a look at some of the comments we've had under videos this past week. We had a couple of fun ones under the retro running shoe video. First one from Tim O'Brien, 256. Actually, just an interesting insight. We used to take those Tigers, which one of the pairs of shoes that James was wearing, and cut them down to reduce weight. We also used shoe goo. Don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's just some super glue or something specific to shoes to make them last several marathons and months of training in them. That's really interesting.
I mean, yeah, if your joints lasted as well, then even better.
There's not a whole lot of cushioning in those shoes. They're really interesting.
Gluing them together, I like it. Another one here from David Maxer who says, I kind of like old James. Now, I was wondering what he's referring to, and James has actually replied saying, which one? So, I mean, he can pull that joke himself. So.
If you want to find out, then do check out the video because there's a bit of fun that goes on in the video. Anyway, also another one under our Couch to 5K video. This is from Gareth Roebuck, 5077. Our running high is in the cafe after the run, eating cake and planning our next adventure. I like that.
Yeah, cool. I just thought it was just a nice comment. And yeah, for me, that's quite a lot of what running's about. Not entirely, but
no, I like that. Yeah, that's definitely, I get a buzz from running for those sort of things. So yeah,
I get a buzz from eating cake.
Nice one. Well, that is it for the show this week. We have got a video coming up that we may have teased last week, but for unforeseen reasons, we've had to delay it slightly.
You chickened out.
All right, Heather, yes, we chickened out. It's an FTP test video in which we are doing numerous FTP tests, and I got a cold, so I couldn't do it. It is coming this weekend. It's really interesting. We are literally testing the tests to see whether they hold any validity, whether they actually work.
And this is genuine that the guys did postpone it because they are actually trying to do the whole hour, and I don't envy you at all. So good luck with that one, and hopefully next week we'll be throwing to that video. But right now, if you want a GTN video to watch, then we would recommend the video on screen, which is James testing the running shoes through the decades.